In my years of being a pastor, one of the things that people seem to struggle most with is sharing the gospel, sharing the good news of Jesus with others who may not know Jesus. And so I want to share very briefly the best method, and it is only a method, but it's the best method I've ever used myself in conversations with people that I don't know where they stand spiritually. So it will involve 5 questions and it will involve a few verses. And sometimes I use a drawing. So let me cut to the chase. When I'm talking with someone, and sometimes I will do this at the next steps or the guest services desk when I meet someone for the very first time and I really seek to sense the Spirit opening that door, I will ask them, and these are questions from a little track called Share Jesus Without Fear. You can get these, we have plenty of them. I will ask them this question: what are your spiritual beliefs? I listen. I don't try to change their mind. I simply listen. When they finish that question, answering that question, I'll ask question number 2. Who is Jesus to you? I again listen. Third question, do you believe in heaven and hell? Again, you're seeing a pattern here. I simply listen. I'm not trying to change their mind at this point. I really want to hear them out. Fourth question is big. If you died today, would you go to heaven or hell? And then based on that, I simply listen. And if they say heaven, I'll ask why. And if they say hell, I'll ask the 5th question. If what you believe were wrong, would you want to know it? If they answer yes, then I'll continue. If they don't, I stop there. Because all of us want to be treated with respect. So, 5 questions. Let's assume they answer yes. Then I'll walk through what some have called the Roman road. The Roman road is a series of scriptures. And again, in this little booklet, these scriptures are listed. There's 7 in here. I don't use all 7 of these, but you could. The first is Romans 3:23. All have sinned and fall short of God's glory. I'll simply explain that sin is a common problem. All of us have, and all of us fall short. And then Romans 6:23, the wages of sin is death. Now, I told you that sometimes I'll use a drawing, especially if I'm sitting at my desk or I'm in my office having a conversation that goes this direction. And the drawing, I'm going to draw it in my planner right now, and I'll show it to you. I'll draw on one side and another, like this. It's very simple. It is a place for someone to stand. Let me finish the drawing and show it to you all at once. It'll show you how quickly you can do this. And then I'll just write the word man or woman or person on one side and God on the other. And I'll say that there is a big chasm between us and God, and the chasm is called sin. That's Romans 3:23. Romans 6:23 is all sin leads to death. And then I'll talk about things that we try to do to get to God, and I'll draw like little planks. And sometimes I'll write works or money for causes or loving people, just different things that people try to do to get to God. But I'll talk about how all of those fall into that chasm of sin. And once I finish that, I'll say there's only one way that God himself has provided for us to get to him. And I'll draw it like this. And you can tell this doesn't take a lot of time. And I'll draw a cross. And as you can see, that cross bridges the gap between a holy God and sinful man. Often that visual, for a visual learner, will be used by the Spirit to awaken them to the reality of their sin separating them from a holy God, and that God sent his Son, Jesus, to die for us. Then I'll go to the next verse. For me, that will be Romans 5:8. And then the next verse, Romans 10:9, 10, and 11. Now, you can just use these verses right here. Romans 10:9, 10 says, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Now, I will add here, and I think this is important, especially these days, that for the Romans to confess Jesus as Lord meant they believed that Caesar wasn't, and this was costly. I want people to know it's costly to follow Jesus. They will have to make changes in their life. They may lose friends. Their lifestyle most likely will change. Where they go, what they do, and why they do it will definitely change. No one as great as Jesus can come to live in your life and it stay the same. I'll let people know that. And once I let people know that, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. I'll ask. I'm not pushy. No, it is the Holy Spirit who draws people to himself. I'll ask if they are at that place where they recognize their sin, they believe Jesus died and rose again, and they're ready to confess that, to live it out. If they are, I'll lead them in a prayer or let them pray out loud, whichever they prefer. I will do that. And here, there is a salvation prayer. So you could use that prayer. My point in this little video is this. I have a limited opportunity to share the gospel with people. It is limited. You and others all over this church have an unlimited opportunity compared to mine. So don't be afraid. As a matter of fact, this comes from a ministry, an initiative called Share Jesus Without Fear. Don't be afraid. These questions are good. They work. They give you a tool. And you have not lived your Christian life to its full until you've led someone to Jesus. And then you disciple that person and watch them grow. I'm so excited to see you do this. Thank you for taking a little bit of time. And so if you share the gospel, tell me. Just tell me. Let me know. Thanks so much.